let's see. So PAX, Stix, and Tootles. This picture on the on this cover page is I just love it because it really it's from EJ Martinez in Santa Fe from last year, and I love it because it has a place for staff Tootles, a place for student Tootles, and even the doodle Tootles, they were calling them. So a space for the drawing Tootles for the younger kids. It really had everything. Okay. All right. So again, I know a lot of you have been on these calls where we're reviewing the partner site, some of the videos on the partner site, but and you know, we know you all love PAX, know so much about PAX, but really our intention here is to really create time for us to watch some of the videos together and to discuss them. I know I've watched them like over 10 times each, and every time I still learn something or I still take something from the video. So hopefully this will really, you know, increase your ability to talk about kernels with teachers, bring in some examples, and even share some of these videos with teachers as needed in your partnering time. Yeah, and create time to write some Tootles as well. So I'll try to make sure there's about 10 minutes at the end where we can spend writing and sharing some of the Tootles. Okay. Oops. So we're going to start with PAX Stix. Oops. All of you should know the partner site by now, but it looks like it logged me out. So we're going to log back in and show you how to access everything in case you don't know. So partner page, kernels, and then you're going to do PAX Stix. And also we're going to watch 2 videos from each kernel today. Obviously time won't allow for 3 of each, and that would probably be a little boring. But I tried to go through and pick what I thought were the most important videos of the 3 to watch during this presentation. So we are going to start with the partnering conversation video with some of the most common questions that come up for partners around PAX Stix.
How have you conveyed PAX Stix to classroom teachers in terms of what they need to do and remember?
Well, with PAX Stix, I like to let teachers know that it's not always about just using it one way. I like to tell teachers, use it obviously for jobs. Use it to, you know, who gets to line up first. Use it for Tootle note writing, for partnering, things like that. But I really like to encourage teachers to use PAX Stix for keeping children on task. Really works well for older students especially too. You know, when we are reading a story or we are supposed to be doing a math sheet and it's a big workbook or something and they're supposed to be on page 52, I pull a PAX Stix. If you're actually on page 52, yay, you're awesome. You know, you are on task. Maybe you earn a point for our class, and when we get 10 points, we get a Granny's Wacky prize. But we really like to encourage that to stay on task. So, you know, the first thing they're supposed to do is put their name on the top of their paper. I pull a stick. Wow, Jimmy has his name on the top of his paper. He's on task. He did what he was supposed to do. So things like that. When kids come in the morning, pull a PAX Stix. That's my mystery person. When the timer goes off, if they're in their seat and on task, they win a Granny's Wacky Prize for the whole class. So things that you can really do, really great for older students too, is pull 3 sticks. Don't say their names. If those 3 sticks turn their homework in, they all win a Granny's Wacky, the whole class wins a Granny's Wacky Prize because their homework was in. Obviously, if they didn't get it, then you don't mention their names. But these are just ways that you can use PAX Stix to keep kids on task, not just for calling their names. So that's just kind of a way that we try to infuse that into our regular program and getting older students to use it as well.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the ways that you've seen older grades use PAX Stix that are different, significantly different?
Right, like so with the homework, with staying on task, with you know, partnering, choosing Tootle note buddies. You know, you pull a stick and you watch that person all day, and at the end of the day you write a Tootle note to that person. That really seems to work well. Mystery PAX player, walker in the hallway, using the PAX Stix for something like that. My favorite too is, you know, you pull 1 stick or 3 sticks, and if those 3 people are in their seats when morning announcements start, then they all win a Granny's Wacky Prize for the whole class. So, but just any kinds of things that you can do to keep them on task and use your PAX Stix for that is really effective for older students. Also very effective for kids who maybe struggle a little bit. You know, maybe you're really focusing on the harmonica, or you're really focusing on they're struggling with the PAX hands and feet. You pull a stick, and if that mystery person is showing PAX hands and feet, they win a prize for the whole class. So whatever your target behavior is that you're really struggling with, use the PAX Stix to make that person the hero, and that they are actually winning it for the entire class. And so we're focusing on that behavior. That's a Tier 2 RTI, by the way.
Excellent. What would you tell, say, a resource teacher that has all of the kids in the schools, they have rotating classrooms, how would you suggest they use Stix?
Same way, you know, I would suggest that you actually have your resource teacher ask the homeroom teacher to bring their PAX Stix down. Put a child in charge of carrying the PAX Stix down with them when they go to intervention, or they go to gym, or they go to music or library. Bring those PAX Stix with them. I mean, I do have some teachers that keep PAX Stix and they keep them in a rubber band for all their classes, but sometimes that's hard when you get new students. But just letting the homeroom teacher bring those down and let a student be in charge of that, it's a job. And, you know, you add that as one of your jobs in your classroom. You know, so that's a simple way to make that happen.
Great. Let's see. Any questions, comments, or things that may have struck you from this video? Let me pull up the comments. Oops. Hold on, sorry about that.
I really like the idea of using the PAX Stix to check in on whether students are on task or not. I never thought about using them in that way. And that was a really great idea. And I actually like also having the kids bring the resource or the Stix to the resource room. I like that idea of having a job and having that be a responsibility. Yeah, so both of those things stood out to me.
Yeah, thanks. I had a feeling when they mentioned the older kids, I was like, oh, hopefully this will be helpful to Angela, because I think that's something it's not always talked about, you know, using PAX Stix with older kids and all the different ways that we can use PAX Stix, not just, you know, calling on kids when we're teaching. So, you know, for calling classroom jobs, for lining up first, Tootle note writing, pairing up people for Tootle note writing, which we'll talk about in a little while. And then I love the also, as you were mentioning, the Tier 2 intervention. So really when kids might be struggling with something, using the Stix as a way when they are on task, when they are doing something great, to really, you know, randomly choose them and really point out what they're doing well as a way to reinforce that. You know, catching kids on task, or winning points towards something like that. Yeah, and then the resource one, I think that's a question that comes up a lot with specialist teachers. I know we've been at some schools and the specialist teachers are just like, I literally don't have time to make, you know, 6 to 8 sets of Stix for each class that comes in here. So that's a way around it. If the, you know, teacher feels comfortable, you know, bringing those, making sure, like Angela was saying, one of the kids has a job to make sure the Stix don't get lost, so that they come back, you know, intact, as an intact set, back to the classroom. Thought that was a great tip. Great. Anyone else want to share anything before we move on? So next we are going to watch the rationale video.
Using PAX Stix utilizes the principle of random calling. And random calling is especially helpful and even soothing to some of my students who can be distractible. This allows my students to know at any time my attention might be necessary. So this actually increases attention. And by using PAX Stix, students who are potentially upset or potentially scared of raising their hand or volunteering know that there's a way out of this, that the way out of this is through help of my peers. I can actually increase the participation of students who are shy, who are not likely to participate by using PAX Stix.
I like how you're raising your hand. However, today, this is what we're going to do. Are you ready? I'm going to pull up, this is a PAX stick. And I have your names on the PAX sticks like this, see? And if I want to hear from you, I might ask a question and then call the name that's on the PAX stick. As soon as I call your name, you can answer the question. I'm gonna put it back in the cup, okay? So you might have another turn, okay? You gotta always be ready. Now, here's the tricky part. Are you ready? What if I pull your stick and you don't know the answer? You know what you could do? You can ask a friend to help you. So if you don't know the answer, it's okay. And I might say, Gracie, you can phone a friend, and maybe one of your friends could help you out.
What you're doing when you're using PAX Stix is you're actually teaching a model that when times are tough, when I don't know what to do, I go to my community for support. I go to my friends. I go to someone I trust. I go to someone who I think might be good at this. I don't go inside. I don't get depressed. I don't get upset. I go outside for help. Using PAX Stix actually models the idea that we all count on each other, that our community is where the answers are. We go outward when we need help. We don't go inward.
It makes me kind of nervous because I don't want to not know the question and then be pulled and I have to answer the question.
Some children will feel performance anxiety about answering a question, fear of failure. So sometimes for those anxious children, asking for a lifeline helps them learn it's okay to answer the question and maybe not to know the answer right away. And you can even practice that with a child with anxiety disorders so that they will feel successful when confronting a challenge.
Caitlin M. Caitlin M. How did Patricia feel about drawing?
If you pull the stick and name the child and then ask the question, nobody else in the room pays any attention. We're off the hook. So really what you want to do is pose the question, look around, pull the stick, and then name the child. That allows everyone to prep in the room and to rehearse the answer in their mind, which is part of the learning experience. And now we're just checking for understanding with one child, but we've already rehearsed the answer in all of the children, and they will have feedback across the entire room with this process.
Well, when we use our PAX sticks, that would make them not saying, "Oh, me first," and not shouting out and give a whole stampede of people saying, "Oh, me, pick me." So the PAX sticks will help them say, "Oh, it's a mystery. We'll see who gets picked."
PAX sticks reduce multiple toxic influences. One toxic influence is we often pick on a child to answer a question who isn't paying attention. And so that child feels always caught out. On the other hand, we can only respond to the children who are raising their hands, and the children who are a bit shy or a bit nervous never really get called on, or the kids that are a little wobbly, they don't get called on either. So PAX Stix equalizes participation, gives everyone opportunity to respond, and for everyone to practice the answers. That reduces the toxic influences of perceived favoritism and perceived status differential amongst the children, which can create quite a lot of toxicity when you're not looking in the hallways, in the bathrooms, and the playground.
Great. Did anyone have anything they wanted to share from that video?
Hillary, I was just going to say, if you carry those sticks to another room, you should probably have a backup, because you know, if they get left or lost, and then the student doesn't feel totally awful, like they failed their job, you know, just to kind of have a replacement available.
That's a really good idea. So have maybe one for your classroom and one that goes outside to other classrooms. I love that idea. I think I am going to add that to the presentation. Or, or if they do get lost, if there's a job they could help to remake it in some way like that, or there's a group of students who could help. Awesome.
And another thing I do sometimes, right before I pull a stick, after I ask the question, is I give them time to share with their shoulder partner. That way nobody knows yet who I'm going to call, but they have that opportunity to think by themselves and then to discuss it with a friend. And then I call on someone if it's something that might be like something new or something that a lot of them might be confused about. And it just gives them that sense of security that they have multiple opportunities to get the right answer before they get called on. Another thing that the kids, I mean, we use the Stix all the time, but on class tools, there's also like the wheel that you can type the kids' names in, and then you'll see it kind of ticking, and that's another fun way, maybe even for some of our special teachers that don't have the Stix with them. I mean, you would have to type in all the kids' names, but I do that really quick sometimes just for fun.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I agree. Giving the kids time to talk about the answer before, it's just, and like you're saying, another way to ensure success. So some kids, it's really helpful for them to practice in their mind, and for other kids, it's really helpful for them to practice speaking it out loud with their partners, kind of flesh out their ideas before they're expected to answer or be called on. And I think that makes them feel a lot more comfortable when they are chosen with the PAX Stix. So thank you.
And I try to hold them accountable for their conversation also. And oftentimes I'll choose a stick and then ask that person, what did your partner say when you were talking to each other? What were your partner's thoughts on this? What did they say? And hold them accountable for that discussion.
Listening skills. Yes, awesome. Okay. Great, thank you. And yeah, just this video, and I feel like really shows us the power of random calling and how that creates safety for students, and also increases participation for those who are less likely to participate. I've shared in the other calls, like I totally connect with that little girl who's in the picture. Who was shy in school and felt like she didn't get a chance to answer because everyone was raising their hands. So I love how she said it, like, it takes away that stampede of people saying, pick me, and it just becomes a mystery for who will be picked. So it really creates that fairness and, that healthy challenge for the kids who are more anxious or shy to be able to challenge themselves to answer. And also I loved how they talked about, being able to answer without even really knowing what to say or what the answer is. So just being able to practice that skill, because in life you're not always going to know, but you still are going to try, or you're still going to want to try. And then also that piece about, going into the community and asking for help. I loved how he put that, we go outward in the community. We find someone we think might know the answer and we ask them for support. So what a great skill to teach all grades of students through the PAX Stix. And just, I love how at the beginning of the video, Jeanette was talking with the kids really clearly, this is what I'm going to do. All your names are going to be on the sticks. I'm going to put it back in the cup so that you might have another chance. And then she really clearly reviewed, what are we going to do if we don't know the answer, so that there was no unexpected things coming up for the students as they use the sticks. And then the most important reminder that I loved, how Dennis posed so thoughtfully and slowly, just to really remind us, is to remember to always pose the question first. Look around, give all the students a time to think, to rehearse what they might say. In some situations, let them talk to each other first. Pull the stick, and then name the child. So really, as we've all talked about, giving them that time to feel the most confident in their answer. Great. Oops. Okay, so we always like to include a couple little, tips at home or virtually, since, obviously we're not in the classrooms right now. We're trying to just think of ways we could share with parents, ways to use PAX Stix. So this was just a cute post. I think it was on one of the PAX's Facebook pages, and now it's on ours. But using, all the different ways you can use PAX Stix. So on here, using Stix for chores at home, making it feel more fair for siblings. It's really getting rid of the, why do I always have to do this, or why does my brother get to do that and I don't. So creating different systems. It doesn't have to be chores. It could be fun things. Different types of prizes that they can earn can go on these Stix. But really just, using that as a tool to create some consistency for the parents outside of class. So you can share that as well. Questions, comments? Okay. And then again, this PowerPoint and most of our PowerPoints are for you all to be able to use in the future if you're wanting to do, a presentation for your staff. So I just included a quick list of the steps for PAX Stix that actually comes from the PAX's website to remind teachers on how to do it and create those common expectations among all the teachers. Okay, next we are going to move to Tootles, which is one of my favorite kernels. So we want to go. I'm trying to go a little fast so we don't run out of time for the Tootle writing. Okay, so. All right, so we are going to start with the Tootle implementation video. And, like all these videos, I feel like all the videos on the Tootles are really heavy in hearing from the kids why they like it, how it's helpful in their lives. And I just think that's such an important reminder for all of us and the teachers as well.
So this is Kira. You are such a caring and friendly student. I always notice
there we go.
that you help take care of others when they need help. I'm Mrs. Lucky.
Tootle notes should be written by teachers to students as often as possible and not a forced, like I'm going to write a Tootle note every Tuesday. I always like to tell, hey teachers, go ahead and write the names of each student on a Tootle note on the top and keep it on a clipboard. And then go through those and write one out, so that you make sure that everyone gets a Tootle before you start writing maybe, to other students over and over and over again. Another great thing to start doing too is when you first start with open house, your very first night, put a Tootle note on the kids' desk and have the parents write a Tootle note to their kids. And boy, that starts really to get that into the home as well.
Everyone, I'm going to walk around and I am going to place a PAX stick on your desk. I'm going to set our timer for 7 minutes and I will start it once everyone has received the Tootle note and a PAX stick. If I notice maybe a student's down, needing some of that extra attention, I might pick a stick purposefully with one of their friends, close friends' names on it. Oftentimes though, I like to do students who maybe aren't as close with one another, who don't know each other as well, just because I think that helps to build the classroom community and gives every student an opportunity to tell someone that they may not be talking to all the time what a great job that they're doing, or the things that they appreciate and respect about the other students.
Okay, take a look at the back of your binder. We put a lot of interesting character trait words on the back of the binder. That way, when it came time to learn how to write a Tootle, which is today, you would have a whole list of words that you could choose from. Because sometimes words like nice and good, they're nice words, they're good words, but sometimes they don't actually describe what you really admire about somebody. The character trait list was something that our PAX partner had kind of talked to us about, and we developed together as a staff. Jacob D., do you want to share your Tootle to who you wrote to?
You are a PAX leader because you are hardworking, because you are helpful and caring and smart and creative and friendly and a good listener. You are smart, hardworking, and brave, and a brave friend to have.
Dear Stephanie, I love how you are so humble and loyal to your friends because you never get mad and you never fight with your friends, and you help them when they're...
I always like to point this out. There's a little picture on the back of her Toodle, so that's a really good thing to talk about with the students. What do you do if you're done? People are going to write Toodles at all different speeds, so she was able to draw a picture of maybe who she was writing about or what she was writing about. I love that. I love pictures.
Are sad. Written by Jordan.
Dear Israel, you are a good friend because you play with me at recess.
If you do have an ELL child in your room, it is a strong motivator to let them read their Toodle. It's something they've created. It's something they feel proud about, and they're not necessarily afraid to share that. Busy girl. Yep, that describes you, just like me. We're always moving, aren't we, Bailey? Smart, giving, and you try hard. Yeah, I think that describes you perfectly. I go to the Toodle board to help them put them up because, number one, they like me to do that. I won't always do it, but they really like when I'm over there because it is a moment that you have a connection with that student. You kind of scan over it and read it and say, oh yeah, I noticed that about you too, or that was a really great thing that so-and-so noticed about you too. Or you can say, wow, I didn't see that this week. I'm glad somebody did see that. And you kind of get a glimpse into what they're noticing about each other that maybe you didn't, unfortunately, have time to see.
What is a Toodle? That is a weird word. That is a strange, strange word. David, what is a Toodle?
You have to write a note. Someone is your friend or someone is your bestest friend.
Why would they be your friend?
Because they're nice to you.
Could you...
Hope none of you have been on the other calls, but I always stop it here because number one, I love David. He's in all the videos and just has the best answers. But really just to bring up here, you write Toodles when they're your friend or your bestest friend, but what happens if you get paired up with someone who's not your best friend? Really having that conversation with the kids. How do you find something positive in every kid in the class, and how do you avoid any type of mean or, backhanded compliments? I think that's a really important thing to talk about before the Toodle writing starts.
Write someone a note to say thank you for being my friend because you're nice to me?
Yeah.
I'm going to write this on the board. With your pre-writers, what we like to do is let the kids tell you verbally. First, when you introduce what a Toodle is, it's an opposite of a tattle. And just maybe give some examples of what a Toodle would be. Juliana, what could you add? One more thing maybe we could put in our Toodle note.
Thank you, Maya, for playing with me at recess.
We already have playing with me. Think about what PAX leaders do. What do we want to see PAX leaders do? You are a PAX leader because...
You put the PAX sign up.
Oh, I like it. Make that a sentence into me. Can we put that in our Toodle note? I like how you what?
You put the PAX sign up.
Oh, how you put the PAX sign up. Wow. Okay. I am going to put, if you want to know which one is the PAX sign one, I'm going to make that a rectangle. Okay. Another thing that you can do is for your pre-writers, ask them, what do you want to say? Write it in a highlighter and then let them trace it. Sometimes too, you have kids who can't write at all and tracing would be too difficult. Let them draw a picture. That's okay, but don't be afraid to do Toodles because you think that they don't understand or that it's too difficult for you, because we're going to build up the skills and it's going to get easier.
Okay. So I'm just going to leave it on the screen for now. But any thoughts, comments about this video? I think this is such a great video with so much rich information. Comments, thoughts? Yeah, so I just took down like a couple notes on this video, but you know, just the tip of pulling Stix for Tootle Buddies, so creating that random process. We've also worked with a lot of teachers where you write the student's name on the top of each Tootle and then you pass it out. So that way, if you anticipate there might be a particular conflict, you know to not give certain Tootles on certain days, or you know, it's the conversation about really patching things up through Tootle writing. You know, it really, you know the room, and the teacher really can help to facilitate that process. Having the students read their Tootles they wrote and received. I saw in the comments, you know your class, so a lot of times it's really important to read over the Tootles before they're delivered to the students. That can be really crucial. And then I also really loved the piece of the teacher putting the Tootles on the board. So it's like a second validation of the Tootle. So they're able to, you know, read what the student wrote, see the pictures as they showed, and really, you know, really discuss, oh yeah, I've noticed that about you too. You are, you know, really great PAX leader when you raise your hand. Or, oh, I didn't notice that about you this week. I'm so glad someone else did. So I love that extra step of validation, really, you know, reinforcing to the students that's who they are and that's how they're seen in the world. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to talk about. Loved when you notice when the kids were reading their Tootles to each other, just, you know, seeing their smiles on the student receiving and also the one giving the Tootle. So remember, it's not just about receiving the Tootle, but like how great that feels to give. And also part with Israel, who's the ELL learner, like how proud his classmates were of him for reading that Tootle out loud. Like it always kind of makes me cry seeing seeing that part of the video, because it was such a great accomplishment for him, and just seeing the smiles everywhere. Any other things to share, or you know, beautiful things that have happened with Tootles in your class?
Lori, I have a question.
Yep.
On the PAX Good Behavior Facebook game, they have this one thing where it was like, I think it was, they called it kudos notes. And so it sounds exactly like a Tootle to me, but are they changing the name for being home? Because I thought that was a little confusing. In the comment I put, what's the difference between a kudo and a Tootle? Because I feel like I want the same language for my kids.
That is a great question. We have definitely heard people being confused about that. That's the PAX at Home program. So that is like, you know, all of the 10 kernels, ways that they've adapted that for parents or community members. I think the reasoning for why they are using different words is they thought it might be more approachable to parents. Parents might not want to say Tootles, or kudos might be more familiar. That's at least what I've heard. But there's like a whole Facebook page called PAX at Home. PAX Tools. And they have videos on each of the 10 kernels, and they have the kudos. Trying to think what the other ones are. But those can be shared with families at home. Does that help to explain? I don't know if Michelle wants to jump in at all. She always explains really well.
So PAX Tools is not as, I mean, they're evidence-based practices, but it's not as researched. So PAX GBG has all these really fun names for things that are clearly very research-based, based on all the research we present to you on training days. And anything that you could read on any informational stuff about PAX GBG, but Tools is not that researched, and therefore they took the evidence-based strategies and gave them kind of what, as Hillary said, more approachable names, something that the parents would feel comfortable using. Also something that maybe community members like Boys and Girls Club or other kind of community organization people would feel good using, but they really just strongly relate. I think I even have an outline of how one is the same as the other, and then there's like a couple of new things in the tools category. So they are exactly the same, Kudos and Tootles. Just one is PAX tools oriented and one is GBG. Does that help?
Yeah, it does, and explains their thinking. I guess it's just, and they're the researchers, so I'm not questioning them. But I know my kids, and the terminology we already use would be much more recognizable to them, and to change it to something else at home might not mean the same to them. So I get what they're doing, because they want their research-based to carry the weight it always does, and the PAX at home is not at that level. So I get what they're thinking, and it is a much more friendly word, but when our kids have it so ingrained in them what a tootle is, and then suddenly we're switching it to a kudo at home, but it's the same thing as a tootle, I can see a little confusion that it might cause. So I'm not questioning them, I'm just saying.
You're not the only one.
About to say, you're not the only one who's mentioned that on the calls.
Yeah, I know my kids.
Probably in the
probably not going
comments.
to push the kudo terminology, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Right, and I could actually, I know Hillary's sharing her screen, but I could also show you that, just how it's related. Tools has a lot of like really different names. So like PAX vision is the shared vision in Tools. Okay, not okay is low emotional response. Beat the timer's the same. I think that's the only one that's the same. PAX Stix versus random Stix. Granny's Wacky Prizes is mystery motivators. Tootles is kudos. PAX Quiet is PAX Focus. And then Tools also has things called PAX Breaks and PAX Amends. So they're trying to draw the same thing and just expand PAX to the greater community. But I think it's totally acceptable to have PAX Tools trained people call them Tootles, call them PAX Stix, call them, whatever the student is used to.
Yes. Thanks for that question.
Yeah, it's a great one.
We are gonna move on to our last video of the day, which is the rationale video. And I realized before when we were doing the PAX Stix, there was tons of comments in the chat, so I read them over. Thank you for them, and I agree, Jocelyn. I love hearing Dennis speak. He says everything so beautifully.
By using Tootle Notes, I'm using written notes of thanks to identify and reinforce the behavior and the choices that are important in our classroom. So by using Tootle Notes, you get to celebrate the behavior and the choices that you like, and you also get to let the children involve themselves in this celebration as well. By posting this on the wall, you're saying, this is important to me, I like this, please do more of this.
It feels good to get a Tootle because it makes you very, really happy. I've written a Tootle to David Page, doing a good job holding the PAX sign up in line to the library and reading quietly in the library.
Tootle Notes are also important for low incidence behaviors that children are just now learning. Tootle Notes are especially important in increasing those behaviors. For example, if I have a child who's just learning to stay in his seat, a Tootle Note for staying in his seat is super important in learning that new behavior.
I wrote one to my friend Cameron because we were supposed to be doing rotations, and she was supposed to be quietly reading at her desk, and she was. And she would, like, every time we went to a rotation that she was supposed to do, she did it quietly and quickly and what she's supposed to do.
By using Tootle Notes over time, what I'm actually demonstrating, what I'm modeling in my classroom, is an appropriate way to both give and receive gratitude. It demonstrates to me how to say thank you when someone does something that I like, and also how to hear people say thank you to me when I've done a good job. And this is really important because this demonstrates pro-social interaction in childhood and adulthood.
In first grade, we had these little boxes that we would put our Tootles in, and then we would check it every end of the day and see how many we get and read them. They make me really happy because I feel appreciated and part of a school family. It's like a prize for you. You worked so hard for it and you finally got it.
Written praise versus verbal praise to children who've been exposed to adversity at home or in the neighborhood. That written praise is huge. It's never used in a coercive way. It's also something that a child can hold close to them. They can put it in their pocket. If they're feeling down and out, they can look at it and went, I made that happen. We made that happen. Too often, children who have been verbally praised at home in abusive situations, that praise has been used coercively and sometimes has been used for sexual exploitation. Written praise has never, ever been paired with that. So the act of the written praise, even if it's written by an anonymous friend, a secret PAX friend, those kinds of things signal that there is no predatory environment. There is just noticing the good that lies in that recipient so they can feel the joy. I made that happen. I am an active agent in the world. I have mastery over my future. Sometimes verbal praise doesn't do that, and you can't show the verbal praise to somebody else.
I wrote it because this girl was doing a really good job because she was staying on task, just watching the teacher every moment, and she wouldn't goof off.
When I have a Tootle note as a child from someone, I can take it and show it to many other people, and it has this ripple effect of other people noticing my competencies, which builds my appropriate self-esteem, and more importantly, it builds my sense of self-efficacy, that I have agency in my world. I can do things that better myself and better the immediate environment around me from that written Tootle note.
Today we did Tootles. I did one to my friend, and the person that I did a Tootle to did a Tootle to me. And she said, "You are the best friend I ever had, and when I play with you, it makes me feel all happy and friendly and excited."
The best Tootle I've ever got was one time I didn't really know, he was actually my friend, and then he gave me a Tootle, and he said I was really nice and stuff, so then we became friends.
Tootle notes are one of the most important antidotes to the epidemic of suicide in the Western world involving young people. Young people who develop a sense of no one loves me, nobody notices me, people hate me, don't like me. But peer-to-peer Tootle notes, from me to my classmates to me when I am a young child in first or second grade. That kind of peer-to-peer reinforcement in our research at Johns Hopkins shows that peer-to-peer reinforcement is the thing that protects against lifetime suicidality. I'm noticed, I'm seen by my peers as a good friend, as a good human being. That is immensely protective from the simple sheets of paper that I can share and multiply my sense of personhood, my sense of value.
Any quick comments about that?
That's just really huge. I mean, there's a really chance, to help kids, to make a difference. That was just really powerful.
Yeah, some of the really powerful reminders from, from the research and about why we're writing Tootles and how it can really save lives, how that peer-to-peer support is, one of the most crucial things that kids can have, and the Tootle writing is really able to give that to them. What else? Just that, sense of being seen by the peers, being seen. I did that. I accomplished something and it was noticed by others. I'm a good person, a good human being. I loved how that little girl again said, it's like a prize for you. You work so hard and you finally got it. And the prize is seeing that praise by others. Great. So we are going to actually keep moving to get to the Tootle writing piece. So I created this just like quick list that you all now have in the PowerPoint. But really, what are the steps in talking about and presenting Tootles to students? I'll show you, we have the character traits handout that they talked about in the video. We actually have that in our Google Drive under Tootles. It has like, I don't even know, like 50 words in there that you can laminate, you can put up on the board, you can just use that as a reference to share with kids during class before you write the Tootles. We also have some sentence starters, so giving kids ideas. How do you even start a Tootle? What do you like about someone? What do you appreciate about someone? Or just even brainstorming a few words on the board before you start Tootles with the kids. The expectation setting. How long should the Tootle be? How many sentences should students focus on writing? Some people might need that kind of structure. What should students do when they're finished? As we talked about, they draw a picture on the back. You really want to have students be focused during the time set for writing Tootles. So also discussing what to do if they finish early. And then the important discussion, what to do if my Tootle buddy isn't my best friend, or, if you might struggle in a relationship with that person. We also have, when Kate and I go to classes and do Tootle lessons, we like to read example Tootles. So, I have 2 examples. I'll just do them quickly. Dear Kate, you're a good, so I want you guys to listen and think which one you'd rather receive. And this is what you would ask the students also. Dear Kate, you're a good friend. I like you when you aren't annoying, but I always like your shoes. They are so cool. And then this is number 2. Dear Kate, you're a good friend. I appreciate it when you always listen to me and help me solve problems. That shows me you care. So, really using these examples to talk about with kids, you might hear some of the, I like you when you're not annoying, or, where they're insulting someone, sometimes intentional and sometimes not. It's just really talking about how you keep it positive throughout the whole Tootle, and how you would feel to receive a Tootle that wasn't totally positive and that would hurt your feelings.
Here's to the moms, mamas,
Is there someone who wants to say something?
They deserve the mother of all Mother's Day treats.
I do. I want to say something about that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're teaching older kids. Some of the kids think it's funny. A lot of the kids think it's funny to be mean. So it's really hard to get through to them that those backhanded compliments do hurt people's feelings, even if you're just trying to be funny. Like, yeah, that it does make an impact on people. And just because they laugh doesn't mean that they like the way it feels.
Right, exactly. Thank you. Okay. And then, again, using PAX Stix to pair students, we're figuring out a system that works, and then setting a time for how long we're going to write Tootles. Important part of Tootle is being specific. Why is someone a PAX leader? Why are they a good friend? Tell them, because that really helps them understand what they're doing and what's being noticed by their peers. So let's do a quick little review in our Google Drive. This is just a little picture, but but we have tons of Tootles, mix it up, holiday themed Tootles. We have Tootles for younger grades where they can draw pictures or circle pictures that connect with them. Christmas Tootles, Thanksgiving Tootles. And then here, you can actually click on this link. This is a link that will take you right to the file in the drive, but this is the 50 different words you can use to give kids ideas of words, a range of words they can use in Tootles that aren't just nice and good. Also sentence starters. Okay, so let's